The stamp of success has followed Chuck Rowe throughout a three-pronged career path that reached into a wide variety of athletic programs. This remarkable individual is currently the National Director and Partner in the Nike Coach of the Year football clinics, where he directs 20 nationwide clinics that attract up to 14,000 high school coaches annually. That kind of achievement is nothing new with Rowe's storied athletic career, which includes coaching powerhouse track and field programs at Furman University and Tennessee, and building the Citrus Bowl into one of the nation's premier bowl games as the event's executive director for 2 decades. Tonight, Rowe is being honored for his track and field and cross-country coaching achievements at Furman University and Tennessee. Regarded by many of his peers as the father of track and field in the South, he initiated the movement to bring together football players and track athletes to build his hugely successful programs. His Tennessee teams in track and field won a combined 21 consecutive Southeastern Conference titles, 6 times finishing in the top 10 in the NCAA championships. He coached 3 individual NCAA title winners and 102 SEC indoor and outdoor champions. In 1967, Rowe was named the National Coach of the Year in track and field. Rowe is a magna cum laude graduate of Southern Mississippi. Chuck Rowe of Furman and Tennessee from the class of 2009.
Elliott and Don Cannon, Leroy Walker were all competitors of mine in the early days of track and field, but I was getting started at Tennessee, and it's been a long time since I've had a chance to see all these guys and all of these compatriots from many years ago, and this has been a wonderful weekend, not a weekend, but a couple of days here in my home in Central Florida. First of all, I want to recognize my family. My wife and her son, Mason, my wife Dana and her son Mason, and my son Kevin and his family. You know, families suffer a lot from coachinitis. Coaches don't spend enough time with their families. When I was coaching at the University of Tennessee, I was not only the head track and field coach, but I was also the director of football recruiting for several outstanding football teams in the 60s, and I used to get up every morning, work out my cross-country team at 6 o'clock, do football recruiting during the day, work out my track and field workout schedules, and go to track practice in the afternoon, catch a plane, and fly down to Atlanta, Georgia to recruit an outstanding football player that night and get back at 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning. I got used to getting by on 3 or 4 hours sleep a night. But that was the kind of life that a coach had to lead in those days to succeed, and the family suffered for that. Wasn't any question about that, and I want to pay tribute to a lot of coaches who gave up a lot of their family time to be great coaches and to coach a lot of great athletes. In the Southeastern Conference back in the early 60s, there wasn't a whole lot going on. The Pac-10 and the Southwest Conference in those days were the hearts of track and field in this country, so a few of the Eastern schools. But we kind of got track and field going in the Southeastern Conference back in the 60s. We did it because we had a lot of young men who worked hard, and that's the reason I'm here tonight, because we had guys that won those 21 straight track and field championships. Track wasn't too tough to win back in those days. The Southeastern Conference has gotten very strong now, probably recognized as the #1 track and field conference in the country. But we had guys like Bob Reddington, who was the first really great miler in the Southeast, in the Southeastern Conference anyway. Jim Beatty was a great miler up in North Carolina in those early days. We had a lot of good distance runners like Copley Vickers, Dave Story, and culminated by Doug Brown, who went on to Olympic to compete on 3 Olympic teams and win all kinds of national championships and honors. Back in those days in the 60s, a 45-second quarter mile was pretty good. And we had 2 of them, Gary Womble and Hardy McElhinney, both of them run 45 seconds, were part of a relay team that won the NCAA championships indoors and set the national record Cobo Hall in Detroit. Back in those days, a 50-foot triple jumper was something really good. In fact, they didn't even have the triple jump in the Southeastern Conference. In the early days of my coaching in Tennessee, Jeff Gable went on to become a 50-foot triple jumper. Carl Krebser was a 7-foot high jumper back in those days. There weren't many 7-foot high jumpers. A couple of my athletes who aren't here today because they've undergone surgery recently, Richmond Flowers and Bill Skinner were great Olympic candidates, and Bill Skinner went on to beat Janis Lusis, a great Russian Olympian, in Dynamo Stadium in Moscow right after the Olympics in 1968. All those guys are the reason that I'm here tonight, because that was a long time ago and we were very successful at getting track and field going in the Southeastern Conference. It's my